In December, we talked about how not all isekai anime are generic slop, and in that video, we talked about ReZero, Konosuba, Ascendance of a Bookworm, and Trapped in a Dating Sim. And since you guys enjoyed that video, I'm here to give you guys some more heat, and obviously spoilers ahead. First up, we got that time I got reincarnated as a slime, and yes, we all know that Rimuru is overpowered, the show is a power fantasy, but it's also a fusion dance between Power World, Dragon Quest Builders, and Ni no Kuni.
What?
Shut your lame ass up.
I was gonna originally say the greatest estate developer, but yeah, I don't know, Bone. Our MC was a typical 9-to-5 office worker making decent bread, but zero maidens. And honestly, he wasn't trying hard enough, cause me personally, I'd be like,
We don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
Anyways, his junior is about to take him out to go eat some Applebee's, but out of nowhere, some delinquent just starts running towards them, getting ready to poke them up. He ends up pulling a Piccolo to protect his junior, and when I say he pulls a Piccolo, I mean that. Because in both these scenes, there were ample time to get out of the way, or pick a different option to just avoid the attack. But he ends up getting stabbed, and for his final words, he tells his junior to completely wipe out the storage on his computer.
What did he say?
Bro, how is this your dying request?
Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 god.
He starts getting mad buffs and ends up getting isekai'd into a new world as a damn slime. And from here, nothing but the finest of shenanigans just starts. From meeting Veldora and escaping the cave, to becoming the village chief of a humble goblin tribe, to having to defeat a walking disaster, and through a lot of events, he ends up becoming a demon lord that runs a kingdom inhabited by basically every major race. What I'm trying to say is, bro is running fantasy New York, and I love all of it. Like sure, Tensei slime is a power fantasy, but that's not even the real focus. I would say it's the nation building and politics. Seeing how Rimuru handles relations between the other kingdoms and the demon lord so his nation can expand and be prosperous is what I think the main appeal of slime is. Sure, the fights and the action scenes are cool, some moments I would say are even peak, like when Rimuru decided to pull a super boo on an entire group of humans that did him filthy, but truthfully, I'm not watching slime for that. I enjoy seeing them, but I'm here to watch the nation go from a dirt house to a mega base. And the side characters for the most part are all enjoyable as well. Like Rimuru's a solid character, but he isn't even my favorite. Veldora, Milim, Benimaru, Gapta, and Diablo are really my dogs. Someone being disingenuous could say that slime is isekai slop if you look at it bare bones, because Rimuru gets overpowered early and easy as a harem of about 2 to 4 people, and there are no real stakes because Rimuru's just built different.
Kryptonite.
But why would you aim to look at a show like that?
Every party needs a pooper, that's why they invited you.
Regardless, most of you have probably already watched slime or are currently watching it, but to the people that are on the fence, I say just give it a shot. But let's say you want to watch a show where the characters aren't OP and instead struggle through damn near everything. Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash is what you're looking for. This show has to be one of the most realistic isekais out. I know everyone thinks that if they were to get isekai, they would turn into some overpowered god with all their stats maxed out, but in reality, you would be a scrub struggling to slay the lowest tier mob in the world that you're currently stuck in. This show embodies that situation. Our main cast are essentially dropped off in a new world with no memories of their previous life or why they're even here. And instead of all of them sticking together, the people considered trash are left to struggle for themselves. And trust me, they do struggle. They are basically playing Dark Souls at all points. None of them are even remotely strong, and instead of them being a team that automatically clicks and got team supers on standby, they are deadass hazards to each other. Of course, they do eventually get stronger, but you would at least think a group of 6 in a pretty decent raid formation should be able to obliterate a single goblin, right?
Nope.
Like on top of them being ass, they were also just getting their ass kicked. Like our MC Haruhiro is a thief, but my guy has no footwork. Shiharu deadass misses a standing target, and Magzo got his greatsword stuck in a tree mid-combat. Like bro, lock in. But I realize these characters are for sure not supposed to be in the field. They are supposed to be in a slice of life school anime, but now they're stuck in the trenches. On first impressions, these characters seem very flat and somewhat weak. But as you get to know them during like the slower paced moments in the show, away from the level 2 goblin raid battles, they become pretty solid characters. One example is Haruhiro, who seems bland at the start, but you come to learn that he is struggling with the fact that he's the leader of the group, and he feels that he isn't qualified enough and that others will be better at it. Like this is a good character dilemma that I enjoyed seeing him deal with, and that's why I appreciate the slower moments, and I find it crazy that the show is criticized for it. If I had to say any real negatives, it would be that there isn't another season, because it feels so unfinished that it's borderline a crime that there isn't another one. And I also wish that the anime showed their training scenes, but these negatives don't really hurt the series for me. This show was fun to watch because you could actually see these characters struggle with every single situation that they're put in. It feels like there are actual stakes and that the world is alive and moving with or without them. And some of you that have watched the show definitely realize that I skipped over a big spoiler, and it's for a good reason. I want people to experience that joyful moment for themselves if they haven't watched it just yet. So I would say just give it a try because the show is far from trash. Which leads perfectly into this next segment because speaking of trash, I know there's a crowd out there that genuinely thinks that Jobless Reincarnation, or Diddy Tensei, some will call it, is dog water because of Rudius.
That shit is a 2-pack of ass.
Personally, I enjoy Jobless even though I'm neutral on Rudy overall. It's like I have the greatest like to dislike relationship with him because he does cool shit one moment which makes me like him, then is a degenerate the next moment which makes me want to skip some scenes. I think that if you could tune out those moments where he is, you know, run it back one more time.
Freaky ass nigga here, 69 God.
You'll see that Jobless is fantastic. And I mean the story, the world, the characters, the action, the art style. Everything that makes a show great, Jobless has, just with a side of Discord mod. Rudius in his previous life is actual dirt, like actual ass. And he gets met with the good old Truck-kun. He ends up getting reincarnated, of course, and as soon as he's able to read, bro trains religiously to get better at magic, which I enjoyed watching, because in most Isekai, the protagonist just spawns in and knows how to do and handle pretty much everything. We actually get to see that Rudius struggles, and he isn't some overpowered Giga Chad, because bro gets humbled on a good number of occasions. And I enjoy watching him grow past his mistakes and fails, and trust me, he fails hard. Or not hard, depending on the situation. I would say don't come into the show looking for a redemption story of Rudius, because that's not what you're gonna get. It's more of seeing how his character just grows throughout his second playthrough of life. From the first step of literally taking his first steps outside due to his trauma from his previous life, to seeing how he reacts after unintentionally getting someone put on a t-shirt when it could have been avoided, to dealing with his family after reuniting. Rudy's character moments all feel impactful and important, of course outside of his degeneracy. All his moments are just to show his growth within his new world. The world is great, and I enjoy the fact that the world language is in Japanese by default. It's something new that Rudius actually has to learn. The mana system is pretty decent, where your mana pool is determined by your training in your earlier years, and if your mana runs out, you just shut down. Sure, Rudy does have an advantage to help his mana pool, but we still see him grinding as a jit. The characters that surround Rudy are actually good characters with some good depth to them. My favorite character is for sure Rudyard. This man is simply here to change the way the world views his people, and when he cuts his hair, one of the main traits that represents his people so he can move forward.
This shit means something to me, man.
Ares is a tsundere, but one that I can actually tolerate because it's mainly a facade for her true self, and when it's time to throw hands, she gets shit done. Then there's Ghislaine, Sylphie, and Roxy. These characters cook. And to end it off, I'll say that I respect it when someone tells me that they don't want to watch Jobless because it makes them uncomfortable and cringe. That's perfectly understandable and I can't be mad at it because some of Rudy's actions are completely disgusting, and I also feel that not everyone can watch everything. Some things are an immediate turnoff that you just want no part of, and I can respect that. I know some of my friends genuinely hate fan service, so they stay clear of ecchi. I laugh at them about it.
You're gay! He's gay!
But I understand it. I don't think I would be able to convert a Jobless hater to an appreciator, and that's cool with me. But now let's move on to some of that old school heat that y'all know nothing about.
You know nothing about that!
The Vision of Escaflowne is that flock. This is Isekai before the rise of Truck-kun. And yes, this is a shoujo anime, so I know a good amount of you out there having a heart attack just looking at this. Our MC, he told me, has the ability to see the future with her tarot cards, and it's not on some scamming shit. She really be watching unreleased film. Let me get this ability and I'm leaking the next DBS manga chapters. Shueisha, don't come for me. Anyways, her ability activates in the middle of her hitting the dash, and she starts seeing Gundams and a person named Van, and that the rumbling is happening. And since her future telling is pretty accurate, let's just say that same day she meets Van, but her ability forgot to tell her that a damn dragon was a part of the equation. Hitomi uses her powers to help Van cook it, and then Van eventually loots its body, but a beam of light spawns and takes both Van and Hitomi to a world called Gaia, where Van is actually a prince of a kingdom. Well, was a prince, cause they got ran down on by the Zybok. Now look, it might be nostalgia talking, but this show is pretty good to this day. This show has a good blend of romance and action, and let me say that the action is actually pretty well done. Of course, it's not some of the stuff you see nowadays, but it's still good. Like, they be boxing inside these mechs. Besides that, Hitomi is a fun character that I never really got annoyed with, and she's never really in the action, but is still useful in her own way. Vaughn as a secondary protagonist holds up pretty well and handles most of the action inside the series, along with Alan, who I don't really care for, to be honest. Overall, the characters feel pretty grounded. Like, I don't even mind the love triangle between our main cast, because it's handled pretty well. Now look, the characters, the story, the fights, and the romance are all well done, but let's say you do hate the show. The one thing you will come out enjoying is the OST. Like, no lie, even if you do end up disliking the show, you will go back to listen to the soundtrack. And look, I'll be fair. Is the show cheesy?
Yeah.
Is the second half of the show rushed because it was supposed to be 39 episodes instead of the 25 that we got?
Yeah.
But even with that said, the show is still good and I recommend it. And if you want to suffer, watch the Fox Kids version. That shit is beyond trash. So I hope you all enjoyed the video and let me know down in the comment section any more anime I can add into the next part of this series. Or let me know just what's the next thing I should talk about. And like usual, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, spread the word. And on that note, I hope you all have a great day.